Communities getting involved with organizations that are working on the protection of these areas is essential.
If they want to go and vote, they want to go and use their voice, what can they do?
It's a very good question because people often feel, but it's just me.
And what do you say to people that say, I don't live near the coast? Why should they care?
All of those things are connected to us wherever we are.
Welcome to Sasha Talks. We're joined by Francis Colón, our climate, environment, and science policy expert with Center for American Progress.
Thank you for the invitation. So happy to be here at Sasha Talks. My work for the last over maybe 20 years now has been at the intersection of science and policy, helping the U.S. government make better decisions on the environment, on science, on climate to benefit people. I currently work at Center for American Progress, and I lead our international climate policy work there.
And that's why you're here. Francis was part of our documentary, Healthy Oceans, Strong Communities. And if you haven't seen it, it's only 17 minutes, and you are going to learn a lot about the ocean and how it shapes our lives, even if you don't live near it. And that's what we want here. We want to talk to you about why this is important and why you have to be part of this campaign. Once you see the documentary, you'll be able to sign the petition. So we want to start with that, why we're doing this, and what's happening right now at the federal level regarding ocean protections.
Yeah, I think we're in a pretty difficult moment. And you mentioned the importance of the oceans in our lives. I'm somebody that grew up on an island. I'm somebody that currently lives 5 minutes from a bay. And so for me, what's happening at the federal level on oceans is extremely concerning. The Trump administration, unfortunately, is getting ready to lease a lot of our offshore areas for oil drilling and mining. If we think of oil drilling, Gulf of Mexico, off of California, off of Alaska. If we're talking about mining, we're talking about the Pacific Islands, where we have many offshore areas that are also part of the U.S., and off of Alaska. All of these areas are areas that should be benefiting all communities and all people. But these actions are actions that would benefit very specific business and industry sectors at the detriment of our environmental health. Another very concerning action that's happening is the opening up of marine protected areas to commercial fishing, specifically the monuments that we call the Pacific Island Heritage Monument and the Northeast Canyons Monument. What this does is it opens up areas where we have protected the ecosystem, the fish communities, so that they can benefit everybody. And it opens them up to benefit a very specific sector. And it does harm the environment for those that depend on it, for fishing for livelihoods and more.
And we know it works. We've seen the science. It's there. We know it's not something that it's new. It's something that we've been working on, and that's why it's important to keep talking about this. So, how do these political decisions directly impact the MPAs or marine protected areas?
Yes. So political decisions to, for example, reverse protections or roll back these designations have the effect of opening up an area to commerce. A lot of the way these protections or these rollbacks happen is by zeroing out or canceling funding for the implementation of the protection, for the monitoring, for the science that monitors how those protected areas are doing. So rolling back funding that contributes to education about the areas, implementation of protections, all those things are what makes up keeping the protection of one of these marine areas up. When we roll back, what we're talking about is we're eliminating funding, we're eliminating all the processes that allow that protection to happen.
So we were talking about science and the consequences of rolling back these protections. So what does the public engagement and civic participation play in defending the MPAs?
Yeah. There's communities all across the US and around the world that depend on these ecosystems being healthy. When we roll back protections, we automatically make these ecosystems more vulnerable. Making them vulnerable when we deplete a particular species of fish, for example, harms the entire ecosystem that depends. Um, every species depends on each other. Um, different types of fish depend on each other. Fish depend on the coral system and depend on the health of the deep oceans. When we make systems more vulnerable, we are impacting the downstream effects of that. What are those downstream effects? It's fisheries that people depend on for nutrition. It is tourism that economies depend on for their well-being and their economic progress. So when these ecosystems are harmed, when these marine protected areas are less protected and become vulnerable, we have communities that are directly impacted. Communities getting involved in protecting, making sure that those marine ecosystems are protected is essential for us to continue to, in the future, protect the benefits that are reaped from those ecosystems on communities. Not just the private sector, not just commercial, but the communities that depend on them. So communities getting involved with organizations that are working on the protection of these areas is essential. But another very important step for communities engaging civically is getting involved politically. That doesn't mean partisan, that means political, and there's a difference. And it is very important for people to understand that these actions that are being taken have a direct impact on health, on our pocketbooks, on our families, and that getting registered to vote, understanding the platforms and the value system of candidates that are running, voting when the elections come around, whether it's local, state, federal, national, is essential for the protection of those ecosystems and marine communities that are out there that are now being affected by decisions that were made at the polls maybe 1 or 2 years ago. And it is important to understand that all of these things are connected for us directly in our lives, and that we have the power to make those things better. We have the power to protect those areas that benefit us in terms of health, marine ecosystem, um, health, but sustainability, and all of that is very much in our hands, more than I think we like to think about every day.
And what do you say to people that say, I don't live near the coast. I don't live in the West Coast, on the East Coast. I live in Texas, or I live anywhere that is not near the ocean. Why should they care?
Yeah. I think we should think about two things. One is how everything is connected and results in things that impact us daily. Thinking about whether, let's think about the human body. When we don't take care of ourselves, we are more susceptible or vulnerable to the impacts of things that come our way, whether it's a pandemic, whether it's the air quality, whether it's something that affects an illness that our body is supposed to be able to withstand. In the same way, ecosystems are made stronger or more vulnerable by the things that affect them. And all of those things are connected to us wherever we are. A healthy ocean is essential for a healthy coast. A healthy coast is essential for the economic well-being of communities that live in those coasts. Those communities being healthy and economically well prepared and less vulnerable are essential for the health of a state, for the health then of the nation. And so you can't separate the health of and the well-being and the sustainability of one system in the ocean from wherever you are in the country. Whether you live in Texas or Minnesota or Florida, the harms inflicted on these ecosystems have a direct chain of benefit and impact that hits us everywhere.
What warning signs should communities be paying attention right now? What is it that you want to tell them? And they go outside and what can they see?
I think seeing the direct effect by just walking outside is maybe not the right mindset. The right mindset is maybe to prime our viewers to start observing what's happening politically and maybe taking a deeper look into the way money flows. Who benefits from drilling in these offshore areas? Who do these offshore areas belong to? The benefits of a marine ecosystem. Who should be benefiting from a marine ecosystem? It's you, it's me. It's the people that have invested by hard work. People work very hard and put their taxpayer dollars towards the government and tell the government indirectly, make good use of my hard-earned dollars. Protect my children, protect my future, protect my nutrition, protect my coast, protect my ocean, protect my air, protect my water. When those things aren't happening, and we can see it, if you turn on your TV right now, you will see that there are certain sectors that are benefiting from these decisions that are being made to not protect, to roll away protections, and there are people that are not benefiting. And we should be able to connect those dots to figure out what is in our best interest and what isn't. Right now, down the line, how do I change that? And I think that those are the warning signs. Yes, the quality of our air and water, but also follow the money. Who benefits? Follow what's happening. It all has to do with you, and we all are agents of change, and we have agency to change those things for the better.
What would you tell people that don't know what to do if they want to go and vote, they want to go and use their voice? What can they do?
I think it's a very good question because people often feel, but it's just me. I'm just one person, or it's just one vote, or what impact does this really have? Anything that has ever changed for the betterment of humanity has been the collective action of a lot of people. But a lot of people could benefit from understanding that there are ways to make change, that there are ways to affect that change, and that we have processes that they can impact. I think that that's the importance of this campaign because it allows people to learn more, then sign up, register, and figure out how to add their voice to a collection of voices. And that's when we have the most impact. But it takes a lot of individual voices to have that collective impact. You're not just one person. And that is why action, civic participation in collection, in groups, as what this campaign allows, is so important. Whatever happens in one part of the ocean is part of your kitchen table. Whatever happens to the health of our air and our water, whatever happens to the sustainability of our planet has encased in it our health, our well-being, our economic stability, our ability to provide for our families in the future. There is nothing without health and a sustainable planet. And I think that's the importance of this campaign. It's a way for people to add their voice and to understand that they can have agency, that they can have impact, and this is the way to do it.
And together we can do it. So go sign up. You'll find the QR code. You'll find the website. Marine protected areas. Think of it of a national park underwater. Thank you so much. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure and hopefully, together we'll be able to make a
I'm so
difference.
proud of this effort. Thank you for having me.
Gracias, gracias, gracias. Thank you.